Hey everybody, how is it going today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about 88 Energy Limited, ticker symbol EEENF. I've got some questions on this one. It's making a pretty decent looking chart pattern, so I want to go over that with you. And then I want to get into these Bitcoin related stocks. There's a lot of volume starting to pour back into these, so these things might be in play again. And I've got one that's flying under the radar that I want to show you that could be a hidden gem. Now, if you're new to my channel, I have been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in each video I will show you trades that I see setting up right now. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading and investing ideas. And also, if you would like to support the channel and become part of our Patreon community and see what we are buying and selling in real time for a measly $10 a month, that link is in the description. All right, in this video, I want to start off with 88 Energy Limited, ticker symbol EEENF. I haven't talked about this one in a long time, but I've got several questions on it lately, and I'm assuming it's because it's laying down this pretty nice base, and we got some volume starting to come back into this stock. I haven't looked into any of the news or anything because I am not allowed to trade this stock, unfortunately, and you know, there's really no point in getting into it too deep if I'm not allowed to trade it. But if you guys know anything about this stock, any rumors, any news, please leave it down there in the comment section of the video, because I am curious about this stock, and I'm sure anybody else who is watching this video is curious as well, so we would all appreciate that. But anyway, I started talking about this stock way back in mid-March before this run-up. Actually, let me zoom in a little closer, get rid of this green wick so we can see the price action just a little bit better. I had gotten several questions in early March, and once the stock popped above this 8-period exponential moving average and started to hold it, that's when I got interested. I believe I tried to buy some just under 3 cents a share, and that's when my order was denied, and then we had this huge move up. Who knows if I would have sold any up here? I might still be trapped if I had entered this stock. Usually I sell a little bit on the way up at least to try to make at least some of my money back, or I like to implement an incremental sell, because you never know where a top is going to be in a stock, and once they start to go parabolic like this, you know, I got to start ringing the register at least a little bit. But when the stock had this huge gap down, I believe it was because the well results were either poor or they were delayed. It seemed like, if my memory serves, is a little bit of an overreaction. I almost think like the well results were just delayed, but irregardless, it had this huge gap down. But what I had talked about in the video after that gap down, what you wanted to watch for was the low from this day to make sure it was not broken. If the low was broken on this day, a lot of these penny stocks just end up fading down into the abyss, and that's when you would want to enter your or exit your position and just, you know, move on to another opportunity if you were still holding on to the stock. But I said what you wanted to see was a nice long base. You know, a nice long base was what needed to happen in order for this stock to go on another big run, and that looks like that's what's happening right now, and it looks like the volume is coming back in. So I don't know if you know, we got some favorable news that's coming up, or if it's already came out. But I would typically like to see a stock go sideways a little bit longer than this. I would like to see it go sideways for at least 6 months or so. But, you know, if there's enough good news that comes out, you know, a 3-month base could be long enough. And the reason why I like to see it go on for longer than 6 months is because all these people that were trapped up here, you know, when something like this happens, a lot of people just kind of forget about the stock, and you know, they'll check in on it from time to time, and once it has little moves up like this and it gets kind of close to their entry price or their break-even point, you know, that's when they like to come in and to just, you know, get as close to break even as they can and move on to something else, because nobody likes looking at dogs in their portfolio. But that's why, you know, moves up just get sold into after a big gap down like this. So it kind of takes a while to, you know, filter all these people out of the stock. And once they're all gone, there's a higher probability of it going on a sustained uptrend. So it could be happening already. It looks like it's already starting to hook up. You got some good volume coming in. So I think this stock chart is looking pretty good at the moment. So you guys that asked those questions, if you're still in the stock, if it was me, I personally would just continue to hold, because it looks like it's laying down a good foundation. If you're thinking about entering the stock, I would probably I guess I would probably hope that the base goes on a little bit further, but if it breaks above this 8-period exponential moving average and continues to hold, then you got a higher probability of it going on another sustainable uptrend. Once it breaks down below it, that's probably when I would just exit and wait for it to, build up into this type of formation again. But just to close out my thoughts on 88 Energy Limited, I think it's looking pretty good at the moment. I'm going to have to probably look into this one a little bit more and see if there's any news that's coming out. But as far as the chart pattern goes, it's like it's under accumulation again and could be moving higher soon. All right, the next ones that I want to talk about are these Bitcoin-related plays because it looks like these things are catching a bid today. So these things might be in play going forward because there is a lot of volume pouring into these stocks. You can see the volume that's coming in on this one. This is Bit Digital, ticker symbol BTBT. But the volume that's coming into this one today is dwarfing the volume that it had back in late December when the thing was just screaming higher. So whatever's going on, whether it's short covering, whether it's people just getting excited about these stocks again, you can definitely tell that the volume is pouring in. And actually, if we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see it was making a little bit of a bottoming formation right here. Would have been kind of tough to catch. Let me go intraday. It's going to be a little difficult to see with this huge up day right here, but maybe I can back it out a little bit so that goes off the chart and we can see it a little bit better. But this is the bottoming formation that I love to play. I talk about it all the time on this channel. But it's almost like an inverted head and shoulders pattern. You get that big move down, and then you get a quick blast, and then you move right back up into that consolidation. That usually forms the right shoulder, and it makes a little bit of a neckline. And I like to get into the stock once it breaks that neckline and holds it. But we can see if I move forward a little bit, this one would have been a little bit more difficult to play because it did end up breaking that neckline. So that's when I come to my, have to come to my decision. Do I want to take my small loss or give it a little bit more leeway? Of course, I wasn't in the stock, so who knows what I would have done. I probably would have given it a little bit more leeway, but because sometimes these necklines can get broken, and then the price can jump right back above it. So I like to give it just a little bit more leeway, but that's just me personally. But if I zoom to the current price action, you can see it drifted sideways below that neckline for a little bit and then had that explosive move higher. But this is the type of bottoming formation that I like to look for in a stock. And sometimes you get this explosion. They're not always going to be this big, but definitely a nice bottoming formation on the intraday chart on Bit Digital. And if this stock can continue to hold these levels and kind of move sideways, maybe to slightly down, form like a little bit of a bullish flag formation, I think we could see some higher prices in BTBT. But let's go back to the daily chart real quick. Let me get back to current levels here. But I mean, if it can hold above this 50-period simple moving average and just kind of move sideways, I think there's a good possibility we could see some higher prices for BTBT. Another one that was making a big move today was RIOT Blockchain. You can see RIOT Blockchain is up about 21% at the moment. So a lot of these things are starting to catch a bid again. So these are going to be stocks to keep an eye on over the next couple of days or so, because if they can hold these gains and move sideways, then chances are we're going to see some follow through to the upside, and they might be pretty decent follow throughs as well, especially if Bitcoin really goes on a decent run. These things could have pretty big moves. But the next one I want to show you is Mara. Mara is doing the same thing. It's up about 19% at the moment. So this price action goes the same for Mara. If it can hold these levels and kind of go sideways, if it immediately sells off, then you're going to have to wait for it to make a little bit more of a constructive pattern. But definitely the way Mara was up for 3 days, kind of going sideways, and then had a nice gap up. That's telling me that there's probably going to be a little bit more follow through to the upside. I want to see it consolidate a little bit more before I jump in because I missed this initial thrust up. But that's okay, because if a stock has a thrust up, all you want to do is kind of sit tight and watch and see how it digests that move up. If it sells off immediately, then chances are it's probably going to remain weak. But if this doesn't bring any sellers into the market and the stock can move sideways, then chances are we're going to get some follow through to the upside. And of course, the other big one is MicroStrategy. I can say MicroStrategy is up 26%, so this one's having a nice big move. And man, one that I was looking at a few days ago was Voyager Digital. I was really hoping for this thing to fall under $10 a share, and I was going to grab some. Probably got a little bit too greedy because it made it close to $10, but now it's almost to $15, so almost a 50% move up if I would have got in near those lows. But man, just a big move up in these stocks. But one that I am holding that is really not participating that well that I wanted to show you is CleanSpark. For whatever reason, CleanSpark is not catching a bid. It's right at long-term support. So I was kind of thinking it probably was going to have a decent move up. It was up a little bit today, but it kind of sold off. So I think this is an under-the-radar Bitcoin play. I think if Bitcoin continues to move higher, I think people are eventually going to look back into CleanSpark. Check them out on check their numbers out on Seeking Alpha. The numbers for their growth is pretty decent, to say the least. But I think CleanSpark could be an under-the-radar play on Bitcoin if these Bitcoin stocks remain strong. Okay, everyone, that is all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, or if you have any other ones you want me to take a look at, please leave it down there in the comments section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.